Sean, I understand that everybody gets really excited about college football, and there's this big countdown to it. But I, in my heart of hearts, know you and believe that you are doing the same thing with college basketball by the day. How was the offseason for you as you wait for your beloved college basketball to return?
It was great. I mean, great offseason. Just really invested a ton. My daughter went off to college at Berkeley, so I invested a ton in her and making sure that she was set up and confident and ready to take that on. And then my son's golf game. Invested a lot of time on the golf course, which is never a bad time to spend with your son. Cell phones down. 4 hours in a golf cart is good. But probably about I would say three weeks ago, I probably invested 4 straight days, 8 hours plus, going through film from last year and then building out my game boards for every team in every conference that I might potentially see over the course of this college basketball season. So it's go time. The start of college football to me is not the joy of starting college football. It's the excitement that college basketball is getting that much closer.
Yes.
And BYU fans could not be more excited. I mean, people
Why?
have called it the most anticipated season ever. Has anything changed in your opinion over the summer, or has it stayed the status quo? Because there's not been anything major.
No, I mean, I think that you look around the landscape of college basketball, and we look at an umbrella outside of BYU, and you look at the entire country. I think the teams that we anticipate going into this season that are going to be very elite are teams that have returning stars. Does BYU have that?
Indeed.
Okay. Extreme NBA talent. Does BYU have that?
Check.
Okay. And a point guard that has proven at the Division I level that they can lead an offense.
And here we are.
Okay, and so that's where, like, if you remember, I think one of the last times we talked, I said that I believed on paper that this was a Final Four quality team. I still believe that very much so, and I think that you look at the teams in the other programs, whether it be Florida and some of the transfers that they got in Boogie Fland and some of the ups and downs that he had at Arkansas, I think is going to actually help him be a better player at Florida and their front court and the experience that they have of national championship. Speaking of national championship, Houston has 9 guys that dressed for a national championship game last year and then add in a very good recruiting class. They'll be younger than they've been in the past, so I think that's going to be kind of interesting to see how that plays out with the way that the style in which Kelvin Sampson asks of his team. Obviously, you talk about Purdue and Braden Smith and Trey Kaufman-Renn. I mean, the top of the teams that you're looking at in college basketball all have similar storylines, maybe different components, maybe different strengths and pieces, but experience and guys that have come back that are ready to take it to that next level. And I think BYU fits that mold in how these pieces come together, but also what they have returning.
I think a lot of BYU fans are struggling with the idea that their expectations should be so high because from their vantage point, it's, well, I don't want to be disappointed. I don't want to get too excited. But here you are saying they're Final Four quality. We believe it. And everyone's asking, okay, well, what's the minimum threshold of success for BYU this year if they went to the Sweet 16 last year and their roster's better now?
Okay, but would you rather be a team that's like, I hope we get an at-large bid in the tournament? I hope we're not on the bubble. So
We've forgotten about those days.
I think when you look at the roster and the way that Coach Kevin Young has put this whole team together, it's designed to be able to endure throughout the course of the season. I think what you'll see in November is not what you will see in February. I think that there's a growth that can that will continue along in that process. When I look at Final Four teams and I say that, I don't say it just, well, oh, like there's some hyperbole that I could just throw out and say that they're a Final Four team and let's just go. No. There's a growth that has to take place during the course of a season. I think that if you go back to last college basketball season, I thought Auburn really came out of the gates and won the Maui, and everybody was talking about how great Auburn was. And I thought they kind of hit a little bit of a plateau. And as the season went on, did they improve at the same level in which we saw other teams improving throughout the country? And that's no disrespect to Bruce Pearl's team. It's a really good team, obviously, throughout the course of the season.
No, but some other teams caught them.
But some other teams caught them. And I think BYU is going to be one of those teams that as you start the year, yeah, there's going to be Purdue and Florida and Houston up top, but BYU has the capabilities to catch them if their mindset's right, if the development process individually and collectively comes together as it should over the course of the season.
I really like BYU's schedule. I mean, it's the toughest they've ever played.
I love it. And Kevin Young told me this last year. One of the first things I said to him, I said, what have you learned about college basketball? He goes, our schedule stinks.
We have to schedule way more difficult.
They only controlled, I think, 2 of the 11.
And it wasn't great last year in the non-conference. And this year, it's a lot better, which means, guess what? You'll probably take some losses.
Yep.
And that's okay because those losses aren't going to hurt you. They're actually probably going to help you. And if you win a couple of those big games that are on the schedule, which I assume you will, that'll help with seeding that much more. And those are the type of things that you need to do. There's been some criticism of the Big 12 over recent years about non-conference scheduling because of the strength of the conference overall. And the non-con was a little bit lighter for some teams, and they benefited so heavily from that. I think what we're seeing is a shift in college basketball in general. I think that what Michigan State and Gonzaga had been doing for a long period of time is now becoming much more of the norm. You see Dan Hurley willing to play really anybody, anywhere, anytime kind of mentality.
Including BYU this year in Boston.
And I love it. And it's great. It's great for our sport. We're trying to cut through. We're trying to take some air away from college football just a little bit and be like, hey, you can watch other sports, and here's a really good game you should watch this week.
Sean, Tuesdays and Wednesdays are open.
Okay.
During football.
Understood. But that's the Thursday through Monday part that makes it a little bit more difficult.
Sean Farnham of ESPN is with us on BYU Sports Nation. Okay, now to the AJ Dybantsa question. And you've already talked about what an impact he is having on BYU's perception worldwide. In fact, I was in Cleveland, Ohio with my 14-year-old recently visiting a theme park, and we picked up our rental car, and this nice young man behind the rental car counter saw a BYU logo, and he was like, yo, AJ Dybantsa. And I was like,
not Yale.
Wow, we're there. He's like, I have no tie to BYU, but I can't wait to watch what you guys are doing. I'm like, we're there. He's that type of player.
You told him about the pregame show, right?
Absolutely, I
Okay,
didn't.
sure you did.
But I probably should have. But you were pretty bullish on that. Like, expect this, and it's happened with the schedule and with people recognizing. What do you expect him to do once he gets on the floor, though, and games start to actually happen?
To be a star. I mean, to be a star. You don't start the college basketball season going, hey, who's the number one pick, and then expect that player not to show up. I think it's between him and Darren Peterson at Kansas. I think they're both extremely talented. Obviously, they faced off multiple times at the prep level. But I expect AJ to be a star. What is going to help AJ become that star is the pieces that are around him, though. When you're a solo star, it becomes really easy to start to scheme. But when you look around and the king of tater tots is to the right-hand side, and you've got a point guard like Robert Wright, who starred last year at Baylor, all of a sudden it creates and allows spacing. I think when you look at Kevin Young's system and the pace of play and how they want to get up the floor, all of those things are advantageous to AJ being the star that we anticipate. A year ago, we entered the college basketball season talking about Cooper Flagg. And the question was, could he handle the pressure of this moment, of everybody expecting him to be that guy? And we saw him slip and fall at the Champions Classic late in that game, and Duke took the loss, and everyone, oh, maybe he's not that guy. And then, oh, okay, he's definitely that guy throughout the course of the season. And then, of course, missed the shot that would have potentially sealed a game for Duke in the Final Four. And those are things that people will point out. But at the end of the day, anybody that looks at Cooper Flagg and say he didn't meet expectations or he wasn't that face that we needed in college basketball, they're wrong. He was. And I think that AJ has the capabilities to be exactly that. But he's a young man that has dealt with pressure for a very long period of time. This isn't the first time a lot of spotlight has been on him. You go to the All-Star game and you sit down and get interviewed by Kevin Durant and you're talking to him like you're best friends with him. Like, it's a little bit different. You've been out and exposed to pressure and the spotlight in which he has. I anticipate in this system that he'll thrive.
BYU got a big Monday game for the first time in a long time. BYU, Arizona, January 26th. We're going to have you on the call, or what's going on, Doc?
First and foremost, okay, you just joined the Big 12. The WCC wasn't part of Big Monday. You know that, right?
I know,
the Mountain West wasn't part of Big Monday.
It was, actually. We had Big Monday.
long time ago.
Not
we
like
remember.
it is now, yeah.
Not like now.
The West remembers. The
Yes.
Mountain West remembers.
I believe it's Arizona BYU, correct?
Yes.
I had no idea. I had no idea that was taking place. Look, I think that.
I want you on the call is what I'm saying.
Okay, but Fran Fraschilla might say that he wants to be on the call.
If Fran was on, I'd say, Fran, I want you on the call. No.
Listen, I don't know obviously what my schedule is going to be looking like this year. I do anticipate probably some changes, but I'm very excited about the direction of the early conversations of what my schedule will look like.
Sweet.
And I anticipate that I'll be in the studio frequently with
Let's
you guys.
go.
Oh, in the studio.
Let's
That's
go,
great.
Sean.
Well, if I'm here on game day, why would I not just do my hit from here instead of zooming from the hotel?
Better. It's better,
true.
Sean.
It's true.
Okay. Also,
a
lot of times
by the
people-
way, this is a kinder, nicer, gentler Sean. Like, if you notice, like, I haven't taken a shot at either one of you yet during the course of this
Well,
interview.
the interview's not over.
That's true. Okay,
Let's
continue.
just play it out a little bit.
it's forthcoming. We're just setting the table for later.
Just want to make sure.
Not every analyst who's in town comes in studio, so we appreciate it.
But I enjoy talking to you guys. Like, this
And
is fun. And
likewise.
listen, I think the best joy of college basketball is connecting with the university. Whether it's Gonzaga and the Farnham flatbread that's up in Spokane, right? And how fun that has become and how silly it is. Whether it's the Cougar Tail and being here with you guys at BYU.
Mascot walking in.
Which is, I didn't even know you had a Cougar Tail mascot.
We didn't know either.
But the Rock and the student section, it's unique. It's special. And I say that to all the time. And by the way, there's other student sections that are great. But it's what makes college athletics the best. Like, we have to celebrate the joy of what we get to do. There's a lot of other things we could be talking about that aren't as joyful as talking about the fact that we get to celebrate the athleticism and the talents of these student athletes being showcased on a nationwide network that millions of people have an opportunity to get to see their story, and that these students get to embrace their school, their university the way they do. To me, that's the best of college athletics, and that's what makes BYU special. And I think that this is a golden opportunity this year. Like, we talked about it when AJ made the decision, right? And I said transfers would come. Transfers came.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, the team is loaded, the team is ready. Now it's about, well, what does this do for next year? Is this a one-hit wonder? Or does this grow into something where people start to see BYU a little bit of a different light than maybe some of the bubble that's been placed on this university from people that may not be of Mormon faith, right?
Yeah.
And go like, is that a place I really want to go to school? All of that could and potentially change at such a rapid progression based on who your head coach is, his background, based on the star and the face of this year's team, based on the experiences that others have had as they have come through here. And that, to me, is going to make this incredibly interesting to see how this plays out over the course of the season.
Sean Farnham bringing it on BYU Sports Nation. Okay, as we wrap up, just out of sheer curiosity, where would you place BYU in a preseason Big 12 conference poll? Because Lenardi's got him as a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament, but I'm not sure where that factors in. You already mentioned how good Houston's going to be coming back with so much experience.
I think Arizona's really interesting, too,
Yes.
with Jaden Bradley back in particular and a very, very talented freshman
Where
class.
do you put BYU?
I'm interested to see if the transfers at Kansas are more of the Bill Self kind of players.
What is
than
Texas
we've
Tech?
seen. I think Texas Tech is loaded. I spent some time with Grant McCaslin just the other day, and I think they're loaded. And I think that he feels as confident in this team as any team that he's ever had. And the standard for them, in their vision, is to try to compete for a national championship this year. So if their vision is to compete for a national championship, if your vision is to compete for a national championship, if Houston's vision is to stay relevant and continue to compete at a national championship level, those would be my top 3 teams. Now, I'd put Houston probably 1. I would put Texas Tech maybe ahead of BYU early, but with the potential to catch as the season goes along, just because I think that you rely a little bit on AJ as a freshman, a little bit more than what Texas Tech is going to be relying on veterans and transfers that kind of fit the mold of what they want to do. So I would put Texas Tech probably ahead of BYU, and I'd have BYU 3rd. I'd put Arizona probably 4th.
Wow, we're there.
I can't wait for conference play. I can't wait for the Big 12 basketball media days coming up next month.
Are you guys going to Kansas City?
I'll be there.
I'll be in Ames. Yeah, so hey,
Oh, sorry.
don't leave him
Sorry,
hanging.
I missed you.
Don't leave
I
him.
mean,
Sorry.
I mean, just.
I'm a good listener. He was talking.
I mean, I understand, but like you, me, maybe Slaps Barbecue.
You know it. Let's
I mean,
go.
we could go
Kansas
get some
City,
barbecue
dog.
in Kansas City. It's not going to be bad.
Big 12 Eats Again, part 2. If you recall, 2 years ago, part 1.
I know, but where was part 2 last year?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I didn't have a voice. Never mind. Go ahead.
And we weren't used to BYU showing up in the semis.
I was like, I have no voice. This is awful.
I can't believe you made it
talk to
through
you
that.
guys.
I love
Like
this.
that was.
Secret knot.
Listen, Sean, you've done a lot of impressive things. Like
The
that
steroid
was
injection I got to
impressive,
get
dude.
through that was awesome. It was wonderful. Yeah, it's great. Good
And
times.
the tater tot explosion happened?
Ear, nose, and throat doctors are amazing people, especially on the road in Las Vegas when you're like, who did Lady Gaga see when she was here? Okay, yeah, I'll go see her. But yeah, no, I'm really thrilled for the season, and I think that to your fan base that might have questions, to your earlier question, that might have questions as far as expectations and what is appropriate expectations. There will be missteps. There's going to be losses. But the end result, the end goal could be elite. And I also will say this, and I think that our sport, more than any other sport, sees this happen more frequently. The best team doesn't often win the national championship. There's been plenty of times where we've had unbelievable teams make runs in the NCAA tournament. Go back to that Kentucky team, by the way, that entered the NCAA tournament undefeated, was absolutely loaded. They end up 38-1. They lose to Wisconsin. Were they not the best team that whole entire season? They were.
Clearly.
They just didn't win a national championship. So best team versus winning the national championship are two very different things in our sport. A lot of times in college football, you hear people talk about the first couple weeks already. They're like, there's 4 teams, and then there's a drop-off. Those top 4 teams are really great. You've got Ohio State. You've got Oregon. You're like, fine, great. Penn State, fine, great. Talk about those 4 teams and say that those are the best 4 teams, and you're probably right at the end of the year. Those 4 teams are going to be in the semifinals for a national championship. But in college basketball, it doesn't work that way. And as much as last year's NCAA tournament saw almost minimal upsets in the first round, I don't think that's going to be the case. And I think that was more of an outlier than what we'll see moving forward in our sport. And I think we're going to see more upsets this year. And you just have to try to make sure that you avoid that upset early in the NCAA tournament and you survive in advance and give yourself a chance.
Okay, I have one more bonus question here because understandably, we've spent a lot of time talking about AJ Dybantsa and Rob Wright III and Richie Saunders. Who's the sleeper on BYU's roster
Keita.
that fans are going to know about?
I think Keita is. I think his role is so huge on this team. His strength, his ability around the basket. I think that to me is the guy that you're going to win the Big 12. You've got to have some muscle and you've got to be strong. And I think that he's got the opportunity to do that.
Let's go. Whew. I was going to say it's either him or Kennard Davis. I can't wait to watch him play defense either.
Those two will be the best 2 defenders.
Let's go. Sean, so good to catch up with you,
great
brother.
to see you, man.
I mean, look, I'm on BYUtv in September. How lucky am I, to quote the great Bill Walton?
Yes, I just wanted to do it in a Walton voice. Has there ever been a greater interview?
And again, no shots taken.
Yet. We're about to end. I think we're done.
New territory. Sean, great to have you with us, brother.